I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
It's the only way. It's the only way to get back in the booth, baby.
Hi, everyone. You're listening to Gettin Cheezy with Van and Jeezy. I'm Van.
And I'm Jeezy.
First off, we are back from a short hiatus. We had some things going on, so we missed you all last week.
So sorry, everybody, but glad to be back.
Also, I'm going to call you out again here for forgetting your laptop charger at work. So, lightning speed, we're not fucking around today.
All right, let's get into it, baby.
Again, this is early Monday night, so no Monday night score, but scores. Packers 42, Raiders 24.
Ass whooping.
Chiefs 30, Broncos 6.
Ass whooping.
49ers 9, Redskins 0.
Snore fest.
Cardinals 27, Giants 21. Colts 30, Texans 23. Vikings 42, Lions 30.
Ass whooping. It's just a 40-plus game, had to.
Jags 27, Bengals 17. Bills 31, Dolphins 21. Rams 37, Falcons 10.
Ass whooping.
Titans 23, Chargers 20. Ravens 30, Seahawks 16. Saints 36, Bears 25. Cowboys 37, Eagles 10.
Ass whooping.
A bunch of ass whoopings this week. All that said, from 2 weeks ago, our picks ended up with us currently in the standings at Jeezy 27-13-1, Van 26-14-1.
Still up on you.
One fun fact here from the Saints-Bears game. The Bears only attempted 7 rushes for a total of 17 yards. That's the fewest rushing attempts in the Super Bowl era of the NFL.
That's probably because they have the best quarterback in the game.
They sure don't, but
You see, that was
a joke laugh. I got it. Yeah, that was a fake laugh. Their head coach, Matt Nagy, says, quote, "I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot." He says, "I realize that. I totally understand that. We need to run the ball. I never go into a game saying I want to throw the ball 54 times. I would love to go into a game and say I want to run the ball 54 times. That just hasn't happened. So this is what I have to answer to."
Yeah, he needs to answer to somebody. That is a fucking mistake. Even if you're playing from behind, I'm just saying, man.
You gotta keep them honest, right? You gotta keep the defense honest.
But I guess, if you've got the greatest quarterback of all time, you could do stuff like that.
So if you're the Packers, you can do that, and most certainly not the Bears, because the Bears traded up to get Mitch Trubisky, number 2 overall, a couple years ago, passing on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that was a good choice. I'm suddenly the Joker all of a sudden.
I hope that's not a new thing of yours. I don't like that. If that's a new thing of yours, it's going to get...
Have you seen the new Joker movie?
No, I have not.
Oh, man. I think that's what is inspiring that.
Well,
I'll stop.
Speaking of quarterback play, you have some atonement to do here, Jeezy.
First off, I atone for nothing. Second off, what is it?
One of the guys in my work football group, his name's Mark Twitty, avid listener.
Thanks, Mark.
He sends me an email today. I'm going to read it verbatim.
Uh-oh.
First off...
Am I in trouble?
You might be in trouble.
Oh, I don't want to be in trouble with Mark. He seems like a nice guy.
He is a nice guy, yeah. First off, congrats on the win and on your team looking like Super Bowl contenders. Having Rodgers and Jones in fantasy this year, I'm really enjoying it as well. He says, I've got a question for the podcast. I missed last week's episode, but on the previous 2 to 3, Jeezy has been very in all capital letters, negative on Kirk Cousins. I believe this week's podcast might be a good time for a mea culpa and for Jeezy to admit he was wrong, or at least jump the gun, on Cousins. Here are his past 3 game logs, featuring passer ratings of 141.4, 138.4, and 138.6.
Those are good games, but...
All 3 wins. They beat the Lions 42-30, they beat the Eagles 38-20, and they beat the Giants 28-10.
So, those are halfway decent wins. The Giants are still...
Completion percentages all above 70%.
The Giants are still nobodies.
Minimum 2 touchdowns, 2 4-touchdown games, 1 2-touchdown, only 1 pick. Are you going to apologize?
Let me think about it. So, week 1, the dude is a handoff machine, does nothing. But rightfully so. He's got the best running back in the game, and they really didn't need him. The next couple weeks after that, I mean, he's got his receivers calling him out. So I'm not going to apologize for saying he played like shit when he did play like shit. Now, what I will say is there comes a time when people start calling you out where you either show up or you get out. And I got to give Kirk Cousins props. The man has showed up. He has arrived. He's ready to take a team that everybody thought was going to be a playoff contender to the playoffs. If he keeps playing this way, I don't see any way they don't have. I mean, they've got some questions now, injuries with their wide receivers, with their two young, excellent wide receivers. But they've got Dalvin Cook, definitely one of the top superstar running backs in the league right now. And they got a decent defense. So that's a team that should, you say all those things, should have a place in the playoffs. Look, Kirk Cousins playing lights out for the last 3 games. And I will say, I shat on him, but sometimes people should be shat on for their actions. Now he's showing up, looking good. Mark, you're right. He deserves for the shitting to stop.
I'm not sure if I heard an I'm sorry in there or just a...
It's a cease shitting. Like if there were a war, you're like firing back and forth.
Someone runs out, see shit, see shit, waving their arms over their head, see shit.
That's where we are. We're at a cease shitting. He had 3 games where he was so-so at best, and 3 games where he playing lights out.
From profootballtalk.nbcsports.com. Cousins became the first quarterback in league history to throw for 300 or more yards and to generate a passer rating of at least 130 or above in 3 straight games.
It's a great stat. That's the thing he can hang his hat on. Not for too long. I don't want him resting on his laurels because it's just 3 games. But it is impressive that he's the first one to ever do it, and that's cool. Hats off to you, Kirk Cousins. Nice job.
In those 3 games, 976 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Incredible. Incredible.
Pretty good. Mark's got one more for us here. He's got a question.
Okay.
He says, give us one team with a current losing record that will make the playoffs and one team with a winning record that will not. I've got my picks in. You want to hear my picks?
Who are your picks?
The team, I was so confident before I started talking with what I was going to have it be. The team that will make the playoffs with a current losing record.
Don't tell me you're doubling down on being an asshole.
That was my initial
reaction. Knew it! I knew it! Okay, keep going.
But I'm going to change my answer.
That's the Browns, everybody else.
I'm going to change my answer, and I'm going to say the 3-4 Eagles will make the playoffs.
That's a very, very good call. Does 500 count as losing?
I think technically 500 is a winning record, but I'm not going to allow that.
Okay, fine. So I got to find somebody different. Damn it. If I'm going to pick somebody different than you, I'm going to choose the Tennessee Titans. They're 2 games behind the Colts. The Colts are 4-2. The Titans are 3-4. I don't know how you call that when you still are like 1 game less than the other team because of buys, but I think the Titans, they got their most recent one as a win. They're playing, I think, pretty well. They have one of the lowest points against in the entire AFC conference, and definitely the lowest in the AFC South. I think this is a team that's got a real shot at making the playoffs 3-4 right now.
Yeah. My team, with a current winning record that will not make the playoffs, could make a lot of people around here angry in my neck of the woods. The Carolina Panthers, currently sitting at 4-2, will not make the playoffs. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. What's going to happen is the Panthers play the 49ers this week.
That's a stingy defense over there.
What's going to happen is they're going to trip up. Kyle Allen will trip up in this game, and the magic of Kyle Allen will end. Then what's going to happen is Cam Newton's going to come back from injury whenever he comes back. Ron Rivera is going to double down on Cam Newton, play him. He's going to lose the first game. There will be public outrage in this area. Ron Rivera is going to continue to stick his fingers in his ear and not listen. And he's going to play Cam again, where Cam is going to again lose a game. And the Panthers franchise will be in turmoil.
I think that's a pretty solid pick.
The only thing saving the Panthers right now is Christian McCaffrey.
That dude is a machine. A machine!
I heard him referred to as Dairy Sanders.
That's so ridiculous.
That's so funny to me.
That's ridiculous.
All right, your pick.
My pick, I look at a division like the NFC West, which is currently every single team has a winning record. the Niners, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals. The way
Cardinals
this
don't have a winning record.
the Cardinals are 3-3-1.
Okay, fine. That barely counts.
Fine. But the Cardinals are streaking right now with 3 wins in a row. If 3-3 teams, or 500 teams rather, do not count, then I'm going to make a controversial pick here and say that the defending Super Bowl losers, the LA Rams, will not be in the playoffs this year.
If I could have had 2 guesses, that would have been my second choice as well.
There is something about the Rams this year. This is something that I said about the Packers last year. They are not as good as the sum of their parts. They do not play at or above their cast of characters. They seem to be playing below their cast of characters from a strictly qualitative standpoint. Now, they're sitting at 4-3 right now. I think there's a good chance that maybe they continue to play the same way. Maybe they finish 8-8 or maybe 9-7. But there's a good chance that the Niners and the Seahawks will both finish better than that, so they don't take the division. And there are so many good teams to fight over that one remaining wildcard spot seed. I think the NFC West will likely take that wild card with either the Niners or the Seahawks, depending on who closes that out. And then we're looking at a lot of really hungry teams coming out of the NFC trying to get that last wild card spot. So I don't think there's going to be room for the Rams come the end of the season.
I can get behind that. I got a text on the cheese line here.
Yeah.
From our old friend Ram Jam. He says, "What up, Van and Jeezy? Looking forward to another cheesy episode." He says, "Also, the Niners defense has given up a total of 10 points in the last 3 games, and I'm pretty fired up about it. That is all."
Ram Jam, as always, thank you for participating on the cheese line. I got to shout out one thing. The cease shitting is not done when it comes to the Washington Redskins. You may remember from the recent score call, the Redskins-Niners game was 9-0.
Niners didn't put up a whole lot of points against a pretty bad Redskins team.
But what I'm really saying is they actually gave up 10 points in the last 2 games because the Redskins...
They don't count.
That does not count, which is still impressive. I mean, 10 points in 2 games is great. And it was nice that they got this scrimmage this week here in Washington.
Scrimmage.
But you're right, those Niners are looking hot, and that defense is looking super stingy. So you're right, Ram Jam. You're right about that.
All right, let's move on. I've got an article here about John Elway and the Broncos. Broncos not doing so hot this year. I think they're like 2-4 or something. Not looking great out there in Denver. And this article from TotalProSports.com.
They're 2-5.
They're 2-5. This article talks about how bad John Elway is at finding quarterbacks for Denver.
Well, he picked out a bunch of winners like Case Keenum.
Well, hold on. From 2012, Brock Osweiler.
That was going to be my next one.
2013, Zach, is it Dizzert? It does. Who? 2015, Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, that was a bust.
2016, Paxton Lynch. 2017, Chad Kelly. And this year, 2019, Drew Lock. Now, let's not forget who he has signed or traded for. Peyton Manning in 2012. That was a good one.
Yep.
Brought them a Super Bowl championship. Mark Sanchez in 2016.
Womp womp.
Was Mark Sanchez ever really good? Or was he more just like a game manager?
No, his only thing he's good at is fumbling.
Into someone else's butt.
Yep.
He picked up Brock Osweiler again.
Yeah, that was so bad. So dumb. What about Case Keenum?
Case Keenum 2018. And then genius move picking up Joe Flacco this year. This right here says, this line it sums it up basically. Brock Osweiler, Zach Dysert, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Chad Kelly, Drew Lock, Peyton Manning, Mark Sanchez, Case Keenum, and Flacco. That is a horrible lineup of quarterbacks.
Yep. To me, it sounds like that collection of quarterbacks as well as John Elway are all ready for retirement.
Just because you're a good quarterback doesn't mean you're good at recognizing talent in someone else, apparently.
That seems to be the case here. For sure. What else is there to say? There's just John Elway is not very good at what he's doing over there.
Peyton Manning should come in, take over that role in Denver. How cool would that be?
I think that would be pretty tight. I think
he'd be good at it.
I bet you he would. He's a very smart guy.
Very personable from what I can tell.
Yep. And now I'm cheesing my way back to you, Van, with a burning cheese inside. It's the Packers section!
So because we weren't here last week, I just want to briefly touch on the Packers-Lions game.
There's really only two things we need to talk about here, and they're the same thing.
Yeah. Trey Flowers getting flagged for illegal hands to the face twice in the fourth quarter. Basically, one of them was very suspect. The other one was like pretty much good.
La 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 la. I can't hear you, Van. I don't hear what you're saying. It looked like good calls to me.
Trey Flowers says,
la 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 la.
I'm trying to quote Trey Flowers. Trey Flowers says, I didn't think hands to the chest was a penalty. That's part of a move I do. So, nah, I don't think that was a penalty, but they did. He says, I actually changed the position of my hand because it was to the chest initially, which is right here, pointing at it, I guess. I was doing it all game. I didn't know that was a flag to the chest, so I changed it, and he called again. And basically, the league came back at the end of the day and said, oops, one of those shouldn't have been called. But before that even happened, I read an article that said Bakhtiari had actually gone up to the ref earlier in the game and said, hey, listen, man, he's got his hands up in my face every single play. Are you going to call it or what?
One of them I saw looked like it was iffy, but was not that bad. The other one was a blatant miscall.
Correct. I mean, I agree with that. It's hard for the refs to call these things in real time. They're only human beings. And if you look at the replay on both of them, Bakhtiari's head is going way back, and Trey Flowers' hand is in the face/neck area. In real time, when these things go so fast, yeah, it seems like they'd be a reasonable flag to throw. Now, unfortunately, the way the rules are written, you can't go back and pick that flag up. It's done. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the right call in the moment. It looks like, if you play it back in full speed, even the replay, knowing to look for it, looks like hands to the face.
Also, if you don't want to get flagged for it, don't put yourself in a position to be flagged for it. That's all it is. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm sorry, I'll say one more thing. Lions, if you wanted to win, you shouldn't have settled for 5 fucking field goals. Don't even put the game in a position to have the refs decide it. So, deal with it, bitches.
I don't know, man. Field goal is a field goal.
How many times we got screwed on this, right? The Fail Mary we got screwed on. Even that one loss we had this year with that interception that Rodgers had tipped, the Eagles' corner or safety or whoever was hanging all over our guy. That didn't get called, blatant non-call. So it comes and goes. Whatever, fuck it.
Yeah, that's fair. Fine. Whatever.
On to this week.
But
Okay.
I wanted to tell you, I don't know if it's still true as of this week, so I'm quoting a week 6 statistic. But did you know that 3 of the top 5 penalty beneficiaries are from the NFC North?
Really?
Yep.
You're saying in terms of yardage awarded?
Yardage awarded due to the opposition's penalties. The Packers are the highest, and then the Bears and Vikings fall in there. And you know who gets shit on from the NFC North? Well, it's an obvious elimination here. The Lions. And as of week 6, I don't know if this is still true, but as of week 6, they were the second lowest beneficiary in the league.
If you want to win the game, don't cheat.
Anyway, I was talking to a guy at work who was a huge Detroit fan, and he said basically nobody cares about that team in New York. They've never won a Super Bowl, and because of that, they just feel free to work out the kinks of all the calls against the Lions.
Fuck.
Anyway, I digress.
Anyways, let's go to this week. Again, we mentioned the Packers win 42-24, an ass whooping that actually was a lot closer in the first half than you would have thought it would have been. Quick things here. With Devontae Adams sidelined, our entire offense comes down to Aaron Jones, basically.
I mean, Aaron Jones in the first quarter catches a back shoulder pass. A pass that many wide receivers in this league cannot make. It was awesome.
Super good adjustment.
Aaron Rodgers throws a dime to Aaron Jones in the end zone, and it was incredible. I was like, oh my G, that's my quarterback. That's my running back. I can't believe it. I was going crazy. It was so good.
Aaron Jones had a really good game in like the intangibles, right? He had a solid game pass blocking. He also, this game, was especially good at not taking negative yardage. He constantly fought for the line of scrimmage, even when plays were basically trash. So that was cool.
I mean, he was downhill running that whole game. When there was opportunities, he broke some off, and when there weren't, he fell forward to get that couple yards, or even if it was just a line of scrimmage, he did what he had to do.
Jimmy G has his best game in Green Bay, I'd say, since coming here. 4 catches on 4 targets, didn't drop a single ball, 65 yards, and a big time touchdown.
Yeah, Jimmy G looked okay. I don't think I had to swear at him a single time.
No, that was by far his best game since coming to Green Bay. Another thing I was pretty happy with, our fullback Danny Vitale finally got used a little bit. Had some pretty nice catches out of the backfield. I want to see that dude get the ball like running. He's fucking huge.
That dude is huge. Great blocker, also.
I think he's underused, but he got a little bit of time this game. I thought it was really good. Luckily, we had Tony Romo and Jim Nantz doing this game.
That was a treat. I do love that. You know what? They're great play callers, great commentators, but those two really seem to enjoy each other also, but not in a fucking weird Joe Buck always complimenting Troy Aikman, but in like, hey, we're colleagues, we work together, we're just friends, kind of way.
It reminded me again that like Romo has such a really high football IQ and such an underrated quarterback. And I know I used to shit on him a lot, but like he's so underrated just because he got hurt so much and he wasn't clutch in the fourth quarter, but he was still a pretty good quarterback. Not like Hall of Fame caliber by any means, but definitely a solid quarterback.
Super good. I'm always proud to call Romo a Wisconsin kid. I always thought he was great. I was pro Romo even when Dak took over and all that stuff. I was like, he should stay. I think he's the better option, but whatever. And he's a good golfer. Romo is.
Excellent golfer. Excellent golfer. I noticed a lot of Packers players slipping again on the
Yeah.
field. They were slipping a lot last week too. I don't know if it's the turf isn't 100% where it should be, or if it's just like the wrong length of cleats or what. But it's become noticeable.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Jimmy Graham had a big slip. Danny Vitale had a big slip. I don't know what the deal was.
I also again noticed that Rodgers is so good stepping up in the pocket. Right, he lets like the outside of the pocket collapse around him, and he just steps up and just delivers dimes all day. He's so good at it. It just became again obvious to me.
There's a lot of good football out of that pocket this past weekend. And a lot of it, he did have to extend just maybe a single beat by taking that step forward and was able to make some big plays.
Defense looked like straight up doo-doo the whole game, basically. You know, how bad they played was covered up by our excellent offense. It was just the big plays. It's been happening all year. We've been giving up a lot of big plays. A lot of it was masked by the Raiders' offense bailing us out.
Their offense bailing us out.
Honestly, they had a lot of like really bad penalties in really inopportune times. And then that fumble out of the end zone by Derek Carr was like so unfortunate for them.
Womp womp.
Derek Carr is running towards the end zone, sticks his hand out to get the ball in the end zone. It falls out of his hand as he's reaching and falls around the pylon and out the end zone, which is a touchback. Packers get the ball, and we go score a touchdown. So that was unfortunate for them. But again, those were things that helped our defense because our defense did not look great. Raiders running back got stuffed on the 1 yard line on 4th and 1 because dude jumps in the air, gets hit and windmilled back. Like the ball was about to go in and he got fucking windmilled. And that's why our coach told us the whole time growing up playing Pee-wee, playing high school, you never leave your feet because as soon as you leave your feet, you're not in control. So all these guys jumping and leaping and hurdling people, it's always been a terrible idea. Always been a terrible idea. And now the Raiders leave 7 points on the field because dude just doesn't power through.
Yeah, that dude he got rocked, probably left about 7 points of IQ on the field right there.
J.K. Scott, our punter, still kicking really, really well. I think that dude is having like a Pro Bowl caliber season. Other good performances. Blake Martinez ties a career high 16 tackles in this game.
That dude was all over the field.
Leading the league with 74 tackles already.
That dude was everywhere on the field. There was basically not an offensive play that he wasn't involved.
One more shout out to Aaron Jones. On the long touchdown to MVS, like 74-yard touchdown, Aaron Jones has like the best downfield block I've like ever seen from a position player. You know, he's running with MVS, right, a little ahead of him, and doesn't just get in the guy's way and run him upfield. Actually seals him off and turns his body inward towards the center of the field And like that was an actual lineman block that he did downfield. Good job, Aaron Jones. That was excellent.
We got a bargain for Aaron Jones also. He was like the all-time leading rusher at University of Texas El Paso.
Yep,
It's like the rushing champ out of there, and we get him, and he comes in way under the radar and has just been a beast.
been excellent. I'm going to say a thing here that is a factual statement. MVS is better than Jake Kumaro. Jake Kumaro is better than Geronimo Allison. I think Geronimo
What?
Allison is no longer a starter in this offense based on how they've played this year. I think our clear number one, obviously Devontae Adams. Our clear
Yep.
number two is MVS.
I agree so far. So far, so good.
I think you've got Kumaro and Allison fighting for that third position, with Kumaro taking the edge on it because Allison has just been a drop machine.
I don't know. I still like Allison. He's the bigger upside player to me.
I don't know, man. Jake Kumaro's got like fucking stick 'em for hands. That dude does not drop balls.
I don't know. I do agree that there seemingly is. I don't know what the problem is with Geronimo Allison, but it doesn't seem to be coming. Even Alan Lazard I mean, back in that Detroit game, he has that incredible touchdown catch.
But he also has that incredible touchdown drop where it hits him right in the damn face. Interception to the Lions. Alan Lazard also had a pretty big drop in this game too. Hit him like right in the hands. So
I'm not saying he's in the conversation, but I'm just saying we've got some talent here. I think you're right that third spot is we don't have a decisive player in there.
either way, Jake Kumaro to me is the clear number three. So sorry, Geronimo Allison, but you gotta play better.
Yeah, he does need to play better.
Big note here. Aaron Rodgers becomes the first Packers quarterback in history to complete the game with a perfect passer rating
Wow.
of 158.3. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And real quickly here, his stat line 25 for 31, which is 80.6% completion, 429 yards, 5 touchdowns,
Absurd.
1 rushing touchdown.
Absurd.
Also becomes only the fourth player in NFL history to pass for 5 touchdowns and run for 1 as well in a game.
He had an unprecedented weekend. That was ridiculous.
Super good. And the last thing I have here that I read just before we got on the show here, Garyon Conley was a Raiders cornerback, I think, got his ass torched the entire game this past week, traded to the Texans today. Oops, sorry.
Sorry about it. Time to go. Look, when mom says you gotta go, you gotta go. It's time for the gossip section.
Sure is. You guys heard that Rob Gronkowski is going to be an analyst for Fox?
I saw him this weekend. I actually watched the Fox pregame show. They were all on him. They were loving him and giving him kisses and hugs. They gave him a football to spike in the studio.
But was it good, though?
It was okay. It was passable. Does that count for something?
Gronk is like, he's doing shit already that makes me like, it's gonna make me laugh every time. Rob Gronkowski straight up looks in the camera and says, Julian Edelman calls himself the squirrel because he, quote, always gets that nut.
Get that nut. Get that nut. Get that nut. Get that nut.
I completely expect this to continue on the entire time he's doing this. Just him making like side comments about like, yeah, that was the 69th touchdown, and just staring into the camera like,
get that nut. Get that nut. Maybe I'll just start cheering that every time I see Rob Gronkowski now.
so funny. When you first said you saw him, I thought you were going to say like I saw him in real life, but
No, that would have been cool, but no, that's not the case.
do you want to take your article here?
So, interesting article. I have dubbed it Goodell and the Ganja.
You mean the devil's lettuce?
Do you mean cash, grass, or ass?
No one rides for free.
So we got an article here from Yard Barker, one of my favorite NFL gossip.
There's a cat
Sources?
playing in my green screen. We have green screen set up. If you watched the live video, you saw we have green screen set up. There's currently a cat playing in my green screen. Can you see him?
I see him, yeah.
He's cute, though.
Good kitty.
Bye-bye.
So this is by Greg Papke. So it comes out that, allegedly it comes out, during the fall owners meeting that, look, the owners of these NFL teams are willing to cut Goodell's disciplinary power.
Yes.
Take him way down.
Do it, because you know what bullshit, real quick? Clay Matthews spoke out, like he made one tweet against the NFL officiating, fined $12,000.
I mean, he's basically making a hostile work environment, right? He's just being kind of a generally shitty boss and a generally poor leader of the NFL. And what they're looking at is putting this more discretionary things into the hands of an independent arbitrator.
That seems reasonable.
That
Make a
seems
third
very
party
reasonable.
situation.
The second big talking point that comes out of this, again, allegedly, is there is a certain willingness across the league to loosen the league's marijuana policy. Now, I mean, if you look around the league, Denver, Seattle, these are already places where recreational marijuana is fully legal. The way they're enforcing it is not in line with the culture of the United States, and it's definitely not in line with the culture of many of these cities. And I think there needs to be an adjustment. Should there be some penalty for drug use during the season? You know, and when I say drug use, I mean more like marijuana drug junior use.
Weed is just drugs light.
For that, I mean, maybe something minor. I don't know.
I think they should loosen it up on it. I totally agree. But I can understand as an employer where it would come into effect. It'd be like alcohol is legal, but your employer is going to fire you if you're drunk on the job.
Right, but the thing is, like, what are they? How are they doing the testing? Are they doing the testing that is, have you ever used it recently, or is it the like, are you actively stoned?
I don't know. That's true because you can get drunk at home and then like go to work the next day as long as you're not drunk or intoxicated, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get high, I guess, before the game, but as long as you're not high during the game.
Or I mean, what if you get high on your day off?
And wasn't it Ricky Williams that was like, didn't he say something like, I wasn't gonna get high, but then I forgot?
Because I got high. Because I got high.
The quote was, I got high and forgot I wasn't supposed to get high.
Oh man, that's so good.
Super good. The thing is, though, then there's got to be a concession, right? Let's say the league does loosen up on weed and does take some power away from Goodell, the limp noodle, and puts it into the hands of an arbitrator. Makes sense to me. The NFL is going to want something in return, which this article says could be a 17-game season.
That's interesting.
I don't know how to feel about a 17-game season still, but, we'll handle that when it comes.
Yeah, I don't know if we needed length in it anymore, but I mean, I guess we'll see.
And the last article I'm going to bring up here, because it's fucking insane. I found it this morning. It's from fanbuzz.com, and I'll just go ahead and read the headline to you. Ex-NFL player, quote, accidentally shoots woman, claiming that he's hiding from the Russian mafia.
What the actual fuck?
Former NFL defensive lineman Justin Bannon played for the Broncos at some point, went to college, University of Colorado. He's 40 years old now, it says. Showed up to Black Lab Sports, I guess, which is a bar or something.
No, it's a gym.
Oh, it's a gym. Sorry, I'm not.
He's the co-founder.
Yeah. He shot a 36-year-old woman who works in the building. Shot her in the arm. So he was arrested on attempted first-degree murder, first-degree assault, extreme indifference, first-degree assault with intent to cause serious bodily injury, and first-degree burglary. So that's all bad.
That's all really bad.
The reason why he said that he did it, well, okay, first, he was also carrying a bag that had 2 loaded handguns with an extra magazine. Also found a rolled up $20 bill coated with a white substance that tested positive for coke. He said he didn't mean to shoot her. He said that he was hiding in a therapy room at the gym because the Russian mafia was after him and tracking his cell phone.
What the actual fuck?
The woman's injuries were not life-threatening. He claims it was an accident.
I mean, the moral of the story here, I think, is clear and obvious, right?
Clear and obvious. What are you using this NFL officiating lingo for with clear and obvious bullshit?
Look, so this is an egregious mistake, obviously, but I think the moral is clear and obvious. Don't do coke and then go around with a bag full of handguns.
Do you think that those two things are tied together? He's not hallucinating. Like, coke doesn't cause you to hallucinate, to my knowledge.
No, but it can make you hyperactive. Make you get, like, it gets you paranoid.
Okay, but and I guess if he was like a weird dude to begin with, then the Russian mafia thing isn't that.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean, it
saying
is.
I'm
It
not.
is that far off. It is. It's out there.
I didn't. I don't. I'm not saying the coke caused him to think that the Russian mafia was after him. I don't think that that's what happened. I'm saying, hey, this dude's really paranoid about the Russian mafia. Then he did coke, got a bag full of guns. Not the other way around. The Russian mafia didn't come to him after he did it. I think he's like, hey man, he's telling his friends, he's telling his family, or he's just on his fucking MySpace posting stuff.
Fucking dude stuck in MySpace.
Hey man, I think the Russian mafia's after me. Does a bunch of coke, gets a bag of guns. I mean, nothing good happens that
Can you
in that.
imagine like he's hiding in the corner of this therapy room, like in the corner, just quivering, and some lady walks in to like, I don't know, relax in the therapy room or perhaps clean it or something, and all of a sudden he just pow.
Was she in the same room as him, or was he just like the gun went off? He shot her through the wall. I'm not even sure exactly what happened here.
The way I read it was that she walked into the room, but it didn't seem to be a very clear situation to begin with. So
I mean, the details that we can confirm from this article is he's paranoid about the Russian mafia. There is coke on his paraphernalia stuff. He's got a bunch of guns, and a woman ends up with a hole in her arm.
that's a quite succinct summary. Good job.
It's not a good look for that guy, and I'm very sorry to the lady who ended up with a hole in her arm. And look, if the Russian mafia was after him before, now with these headlines out, they are definitely after him now.
Oh yeah, he's fucked.
Sorry about it.
That dude, he got some problems ahead.
Anyway, time to move on to the old primetime picks. This week, Thursday, we got a game that I think will be a throwaway. So I'll go first. We got the Redskins versus the Vikings Thursday night at 8:20. I'm of course taking the Purple People Eaters, the Minnesota Vikings.
You're done shitting on Kirk Cousins.
Well, the truth is that you can't lose a scrimmage game. They get an automatic win.
Is every game against the Redskins going to be a scrimmage game now?
I think so. I think so.
Gosh.
You cannot lose a scrimmage game, and playing the Redskins is pretty much a scrimmage. So I'm going to say that the Vikes go out there and they beat them up.
I will take the Vikes as well.
Sunday night, prime time, we've got the Packers versus Chiefs playing at Arrowhead.
In Kansas City, yeah, in Kansas City. But the Chiefs will be without Patrick Mahomes, it seems, at this point. So it's the Matt Moore show. Listen, I take the Packers, man. Even if they had Mahomes. If they had Mahomes, it would come down to the last possession. Either way, I'm taking Packers.
I'm taking the Packers here, too. I really think without Mahomes that we have the edge. With Mahomes there, it's too close to call. But without Mahomes, I think we have the edge.
Especially if we get Devontae back this week.
Oh, if we get Devontae back, then I think we've got a
Forget about it.
I think we've got a really noticeable advantage. But look, without Mahomes, that offense has to go back to a human leading it, and they can be defeated. And I think we will. Next Monday, we've got another trash game. The Dolphins at Pittsburgh, Monday night at 8:15.
I'm hoping another AFC team does not make an asshole of me because the Browns have been making an asshole of me all season.
That's the same division with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm taking the Dolphins.
Are you shitting me?
I'm taking the Dolphins, man.
You think they're gonna beat Pittsburgh?
I'm taking them.
I do not see the Dolphins unblemishing their record here.
That's exactly why I think they're going to take it. Teams can only lose so many times before they accidentally win.
I don't know. I remember the Lions getting a perfect 0-16.
I do too. It was wonderful. In general, you can only lose so many times before it's like, oops, I won.
All right. Well, I picked a game for us both to pick, and then we can go back and do our selections for each other. The other game I think that'll be interesting, a team that's been on the decline, but I think has the star power there to win. The Chargers play a very strong Bears team Sunday at 1. Who are you going to take there?
I'm taking the Bolts, man.
Taking the Bolts, really. They play at Soldier Field.
Taking them.
I'm taking the Bears, baby. I think the Bears are going to do it. I really think the Bolts could give them a run for their money. I think it's going to be a good game to watch. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to watch it. But I think that's a game to see right there.
I'm taking them because they're reeling, right? And they lost a tough game. Melvin Gordon's back. It's only been this will be his fourth game back from his holdout. Phillip Rivers, he's no joke, man. He's a veteran. He's been around the block for long enough to know how to turn the ship around. I think I'm taking the Chargers for sure.
So now that we've got our primetime picks out, plus one bonus since the Packers are playing in primetime, now you can pick one of the games that's left for me, and I'm going to pick one for you.
Both these teams, AFC teams, not stellar records, but Jets and Jags. Who you got?
You know, with Sam Darnold coming back, the Jets have got a resurgence of energy there, but the Jaguars' defense has been, it's just been tough. It's been a tough D for a while now. I'm going to take the Jags at home on Sunday. For you, I've got a game here lined up. I think two teams that are both good. We'll see how good one of them is. Sunday at 1, the Eagles versus the Bills.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about the Bills, really, honestly. Other than they're 5-1 is all I really know about them. Gosh, and I mean, who have they even played? They've let's see, they beat the Jets, the Giants, the Bengals, so trash, trash, trash. Lost to the Patriots. They beat the Titans and beat the Dolphins. So they haven't really played anybody difficult except for the Patriots and then kind of the Titans. I'm taking the Eagles.
Eagles over the 5-1 Bills, huh?
The Eagles are a solid team. I mean, they are. They've the record doesn't show it, but I don't think that they are like, three. I don't think they're a 3-4 team. That's what the record is, but I don't think they're a 3-4 team.
All right, we'll see if that's right. I think that's going to be a good game, and we're going to know more about what the Bills can do.
Yep.
When it comes to paying the bills, are they going to write a check their tush can't cash?
Yes, they're gonna lose.
All right, guess we'll see. Well, guess we'll see. And with that, you've been listening to Getting Cheesy with Van and Jeezy.
I'm Van.
And I'm Jeezy.
Check us out on Facebook, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, cheesypodcast.com, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, Apple Podcasts, and you can always call and text us 980-2-CHEESY with a Z, 980-224-3399. We're always here. Last thing, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week, I don't think, but a sincere thank you to all of our fans and our family and friends. We have surpassed 250 likes and followers on Facebook, which tends to be our main hub for communication.
Very grateful. Very, very grateful. Thank you, everybody.
And we're going to shamelessly ask every one of you to go ahead and invite all your friends to like the page and share our stuff. We have noticed that with our expanded audience, we've been reaching a lot more unconnected people that aren't necessarily our family and friends, second and third connections. So that's been great. We didn't think we'd get this far. I think it's wonderful we have. So, again, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Continue to spread the cheese for us.
Well said, man. Well said.
We'll catch you next time.
Okay, love you.